There is a story of a medical student. When he joined first MBBS at the beginning, he was very fascinated in joining MBBS course. He was very fascinated about his batch. Life was all glory and fun for him. As days went on, as he get to know his batchmates well, he got into a dissection batch where it's a mixed batch, boys, girls, it's a mixed batch. Now he had a very beautiful girl in his dissection table batch, and they started to talk well, and they get along each other very well. Over a period of time, this guy started to say about his manifestations towards that girl. So he started to having a feel of butterflies in the stomach. He started to have a feel of a deep breathing. He started to have a feel of a heart pounding and racing the moment he sees the girl, and even after when he thinks about the girl. So all these things, his batchmates were very conclusive that this guy is in mad deep love towards that girl. And later on, it turned on to that this boy is suffering from hyperthyroidism. So it is not just love that makes you to feel butterflies in your stomach, that makes your heart to race, makes your heart to pound, makes your breathing to become very deep. It is not just love, doctors, it is also thyroid hormones. So remember, whenever you get across such kind of feel the next time, don't think you are in love. Check your thyroid hormones. So how does such kind of manifestations can happen with thyroid hormone? How does this, a hormone coming from a gland is going to influence heart rate, is going to, influence GI motilities and everything? That is the topic of discussion in this video. Now, thyroid hormones are very, very, very versatile hormones, doctors. In Tamil, there is a saying, "Thooki potti midikirudhunuvaanga." That exactly happens with thyroid. It literally pushes up every single nutrient products in body, carbohydrates, lipids and proteins. It enhances its synthesis and it breaks them down. So that is thyroid hormone. Very versatile, very dynamic hormones, and very interesting to read as well. And another interesting part about thyroid hormone is the disorders are very easy to diagnose. You don't need to be a master to make a diagnosis of hyper or hypothyroidism. Even a first MBBS student can able to very easily identify whether a patient is having hyper or hypothyroidism just by asking questions, just by getting to know the patient better, collecting good details of history, doctors. So it's a very interesting topic, and let us get to know what are the essential points you need to know when it comes to thyroid physiology. So let us start with the basics, guys. Here, thyroid gland spans from, it spans from cricoid cartilage all the way to suprasternal notch. In front of neck, we have a butterfly shaped gland called thyroid gland extending from cricoid cartilage all the way to suprasternal notch, weighing somewhat about 20 grams and all. So guys, this thyroid gland has got two lobes, right lobe of thyroid, left lobe of thyroid, connected by an isthmus. You all know that. The hormones coming from thyroid gland are T3 and T4 hormones. So thyroid hormones are basically 2 in number, T3 as well as T4 hormones. Now both the hormones T3 and T4, they all coming from a single amino acid. These hormones are a derivative of a single amino acid called tyrosine. So these hormones are tyrosine based hormones, amino acid based hormones, tyrosine based hormones. Even though the precursor of T3 and T4 is an amino acid, tyrosine, the hormone behaves like a lipid. So even though T3 and T4 comes from an amino acid, tyrosine, they behave They behave like a lipid-based hormone. The properties are all similar, or it resembles a lipid-based hormone, doctors. Okay. So with this introduction, let us get on to know the thyroid synthesis first. See, we have the ultimate center, hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is going to release a product called thyroid releasing hormone. Hypothalamus releases a product called as thyroid releasing hormone, TRH. Thyroid releasing hormone comes into circulation, and thyroid releasing hormone is going to act on two different cells in anterior pituitary. Thyroid releasing hormone is going to act on two different cells in anterior pituitary gland. Number one, it acts on thyrotropes of anterior pituitary. Thyrotropes. Number two, thyroid releasing hormone also acts on lactotropes of anterior pituitary. So this hormone has got action on two kinds of cells, thyrotropes and lactotropes. The product of thyrotropes is nothing but thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH, while the product of lactotropes of anterior pituitary is nothing but prolactin. Right, doctors? You have two kinds of hormones that gets released from anterior pituitary by the action of thyroid releasing hormone. Thyrotropes releases thyroid stimulating hormone, lactotropes releases prolactin. Thyroid stimulating hormone, once it gets released into circulation, it goes all the way up to thyroid gland. Thyroid stimulating hormone excites thyroid gland and makes thyroid gland to release two hormones, that is T4 and T3. Why T4 and T3? Because T4 is synthesized. Remember, T4 is synthesized 20% more than T3. T4 is synthesized 20% more than T3. So the most abundant form of hormone which gets synthesized out of thyroid gland is T4, right? T3 gets synthesized in a lesser quantity. So let us try to understand this concept, and let us try to apply this concept so that as and when we keep discussing, we try to see this as T4 and T3 so that we don't forget the order with which the maximum amount of secretion is seen from a thyroid gland. So friends, T4 and T3 is the products of thyroid gland which has got a negative feedback role. T4 and T3 has got negative feedback role over pituitary synthesis of TSH. At the same time, they also goes for negative feedback inhibition on hypothalamic synthesis of thyroid releasing hormone. Okay, T3 is more dynamic in action than T4, while T4 is the most abundant synthesized form. They come into circulation and have a negative feedback inhibition over pituitary secretion of TSH and hypothalamic secretion of TRH. Right, doctors? This is the axis with which thyroid hormone is getting synthesized. This axis is called as hypothalamo-pituitary thyroid axis, colloquially called as thyroid axis. Okay, this axis is colloquially called as thyroid axis. Let us take up the very first hormone and very important hormone in thyroid axis, that is thyroid releasing hormone. As I just told you, apart from this significance, where thyroid releasing hormone is going to activate two kinds of cells. Thyroid releasing hormone is going to activate two kinds of cells. TRH is going to activate TSH producing thyrotropes and prolactin producing lactotropes. Apart from this, they don't have any greater significance in thyroid axis. The second hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone, has got a tremendous amount of significance.